everyone. Welcome back to my channel and for season 2 of Yoga Shorts. And if this is your first time doing a yoga short or any sort of yoga with me, then welcome. Hi, I'm Dana, and we are just going to get right into it. Today, you're going to need a strap-like thing. This could be like a bathrobe thing, it could be rope. I've definitely said this before. I don't ever have rope. I'm using a yoga strap. If you have one of those, great. And then two block-like things. So they could be actual yoga blocks. They could be books. We'll be using them only for a bit, but something that you can kind of put your weight on. So don't get something that's hollow. Okay, cool. So we are going to start on our backs and have your strap at arm's length. And we're just going to lie ourselves down. Find your feet as wide as your mat and just let your knees rock from right to left, just so you can get a little bit of a massage in your low back, on your spine. Hands can be wherever feel nice. Just notice your breath here. Notice if you're holding any tension in your shoulders. And then let some visible stillness come to be. So you can let your knees just knock in towards one another. All very gentle, very relaxed. There's not really a lot of formality here. You're just kind of on the ground, letting yourself rest. Take one more deep inhale and exhale, following your breath. And on your next exhale, reach for your strap. And it can be however long it needs to be, so that you're going to find your left foot placed down on the ground, knee bent, and then you're going to hug your right knee in towards your chest and find the strap on the arch of your foot. So just long enough on either side so that you can hold it with both hands gently and your shoulders can still feel the mat. And then gently, once you're there, just tug your foot in towards your face. Left knee is still facing straight forward. You can close your eyes here if that feels nice to really feel into it. You can rock your leg from right to left. You can straighten out your left leg if that's available to you. It's really up to you and your body today. We are going to be opening up the backs of the legs a lot, so yay to that. But as we go through everything, be gentle with yourself. Try not to judge what's going on. Just notice what's happening and we'll keep going. Find both sides of your strap in your right hand. And then I like bringing my left hand on the front of my left hip and then gently pull your right leg out to the right. Doesn't matter how far it goes. I like keeping my foot a little bit flexed here, and I like having a slight bend in my knee so I'm not locking out my leg. And you can find those gentle rocks up and down and see if that helps you guide the leg down a little bit further. Take one more cycle of breath here. Exhaling, come back up to center, and then grab for both sides of the strap with your left hand, and then cross your right leg over to the left. I find my thumb in my hip crease, so right thumb to right hip crease, so that your right hip stays down on the ground, and it's just, you're getting that whole outside of the right leg, the IT band, other part of your hamstring and quad. Oof. Might even feel some sensation in the butt and then feeling it travel down the knee. It's all connected, so it all needs some love. One more breath here. And then come back to center. Lift your left leg up and then bring the left leg into the strap, or left foot into the strap, left arch of the foot into the strap. How many different ways can you say that? And then place your right foot on the ground, bent knee, and then gently begin to tug the strap and your leg in towards your face. Knee can still stay slightly bent. You can straighten out your right leg if you did that on the other side. Feel free to try something, and if it's not working for you, go back to what does work. It's good to try new things, but if you notice it's really not working, then do something that does work. We're here to find comfort and just learn about our bodies. So trial and error, or trial and change. It's not a mirror, it's just something different. Find both sides of the strap in your left hand and then open your leg out to the left as far as you can go. Right hand can come to the front of the right hip. And just gently let your leg open, knees slightly bent still. Right shoulder and right hip are still on the ground. One more cycle of breath. Exhale, come back to center. Both sides of the strap in the right hand, left thumb to left hip crease, and then let it rock over to the right. Amazing. Left hip presses down. Noticing if this side is easier to move around than the other. Notice if you feel the sensation in a different part of your leg. I'm feeling it in my toes. Don't know what that means, but interesting. Take one more deep inhale and exhale. Coming back to center. Let the strap go. Hug both knees in towards your chest and give them a little bit of a circle, figure eight roll around. And then gently begin to bring that movement to just an up and down rock and roll until you have enough momentum to cross one leg over the other and coming into an all fours position. I'm just going to move the strap off of my mat. We won't need the strap anymore if you want to do a cathartic throwaway. But then find your hands underneath your shoulders. Your knees will be underneath your hips. And we're just going to come into some cats and cows to get the spine moving. So inhale as you arch and exhale as you round. Inhaling, arch. Exhaling, round. And as you're here, following your breath, thinking about how all 5 fingers are pressing down on each hand and how all 5 toes are pressing down on each hand. So you're pressing down to allow your body to have leverage to move around in this weirder way with your spine. And then begin to make it a little bit circly. So stir your upper body around. You can circle your head. You can circle everything around, kind of like you're mixing up a pot of anything. You're one of those, or maybe this is kind of like we're mashing up potatoes. So you're one of those Cuisinart mixers, is that what they're called? And you're just stirring yourself around in all different directions, mashing everything up until it becomes super smooth and you can do anything. Come back to center, find your neutral spine, and then place your hands out about a palm print in front of where you are. Tuck the toes, lift the knees, and then bring yourself back to a downward facing dog. Pedaling it out, taking any movement that feels good for a few moments. Won't be here for that long. Shake your hips from side to side, shake your head, swim your arms, swim a leg. One more breath of movement. And then bend the knees, stick the butt up, find a more visible, still downward facing dog. On your next inhale, step your right foot forward just a footprint so the whole sole of the right foot is down. Slight bend in both knees and still think about bending the knees and sticking the butt up. Breathing, inhale and exhale. One more cycle of breath. And then step your right foot back. And then step your left foot a full footprint forward. Bend the knees, stick the butt up. Wrap your armpits in towards your heart. There's more weight in the thumb knuckle sides of your hands. Relax your jaw, relax your forehead. Bend the knees, stick the butt up. On your next inhale, step your left foot back. And then begin to walk your feet forward up to your hands, coming into a forward fold. Once you get there, just shake out your head, let your arms just dangle. Wiggle it all around. Just let it all rest. Slight bend in the knees, feet at hip width distance. One more breath. And then slowly begin to roll yourself up to stand. Head is last to lift. You're rolling up, stacking vertebra on top of vertebra like they're blocks stacking up on top of one another. And once you get to the top, you can roll your shoulders around, shake it out. Grab for one of your blocks and you're going to place it on the ground in front of your right foot on its lowest height. You're going to step back with your left foot, place the ball of the right foot on the block, and then press down to lift it up. Slight bend in both knees, and then keeping your spine super long, just bend over. And this will get us a really nice stretch in our calf and then the rest of the back of the leg. Keep breathing here. You can sway from right to left. Great. One more cycle of breath. And then just come out the same way that you came in. This is one of my favorite things to do for the backs of the legs. Let it go. Shake it out. Place the block over to the left side. Same thing, other side. Right foot steps back. Ball of the left foot comes on the block. Press it down like you're lifting up on a pedal. Slight bend in both knees, and then bend over, keeping your spine super long. Once you notice that your spine is rounding, then you can stop. And you can place your hands on a wall or a surface or a shelf or anything that's nearby. If that helps you balance and feels nice, rock the hips from right to left. Relax your head, relax your jaw. Feel free to shake out your head, yes and no. One more cycle of breath. Exhaling, come out of it. Let that go. You can leave the block towards like the middle of your mat anywhere. Find yourself standing at the front of your mat, feet at hips width distance, palms face forward, arms down by your sides, knees slightly bent. And then inhale, press palms together overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Step or hop yourself back to a downward facing dog. And then let's inhale, come to an tuck-toed up dog. Exhale, come back to your downward facing dog. Amazing. Inhale, lift your right leg up, down dog split. Okay, so we're here. Bend the knee, bend the left knee a little bit more. Bend, keep your right hip down, toes face down, and then begin to walk your hands back towards your left foot. So, I know it's early-ish, class was short anyway, but find your right toes up against a wall behind you. And I'll probably edit this video and say something in the beginning about being close to a wall, but try to be close to a wall. But if there's nothing behind you, regardless, all good. Just try to find your toes on something. Doesn't matter how high they are, we're coming into a standing split. So just find your right hip pressing down. You can find your hands as close to your left foot as possible. Doesn't matter your range here. Range never matters here. Yoga is all about finding the connection between your body and your mind. One more cycle of breath, and then begin to walk yourself back to your downward facing dog, and then bend the knee, open up the right hip, take some circles, take some shakes, and then bring your right knee behind your right wrist for a quick pigeon on the right, just to give that side a break. So set yourself up, right knee to the right side of the mat, hips pressing down. Sit up super tall and then begin to walk yourself over your legs. Staying here for 5 nice long breaths. Counting to yourself, using your breath as your timer. And we really are just here to do different things with our bodies and see what happens. It's all an experiment. It's all just information. So if your down dog split is your toes touching the ground, that's great, because yoga is not about being flexible. It's about finding that mind-body connection as if you are dissolving something. So your body is water and you are what's being dissolved. Your mind is what's being dissolved into your body. After your 5th breath, walk yourself back up, tuck your toes, lift your knee, Step yourself back to your downward facing dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up, down dog split, toes face down. You know where we're going. Begin to walk your hands back towards your right foot. If you can find your left leg on something, I think mine's hitting a window. Great. Otherwise, walk your hands back. See what happens. Keep your left hip down and just adjust yourself to your environment. Your left leg can have a 90-degree angle to the floor or even be closer to the floor if that's as far as you're going today. One more cycle of breath. And then walk yourself back to your downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up, bend the knee, open up the hip. Take some circles. Take some shakes. And then bring your left knee behind your left wrist, coming into pigeon on this side. And it's a quick pigeon, which is why I'm not telling us to go grab blankets or props like we usually do. But stand up tall and then walk yourself down. 5 deep, long breaths. Really letting your body notice how it's breathing, how the blood is flowing, if you're building some heat. Just take a moment to rest. Letting your hips spread, letting your knee really go to the left. Listening to your breath, finding that connection between your mind and body, not judging anything that's happening today. One more cycle of breath wherever you are. And begin to walk your hands back up towards your shin. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, step back into your downward facing dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Awesome. On your next cycle of breath, inhaling, lift the right leg up. Exhale, bring your right foot to your right thumb. Cool. Place your back knee down, untuck the back toes, and do whatever you need to grab a block. Grab both blocks in either hand. Cool. So we are going to try a split. We've opened up the backs of our legs. So tuck the back toes, lift the back knee. Great. And then you're going to take a few hops. So just hop and switch your lunge. Cool. Then the next time you hop, see if you can get your right foot a little bit more forward. Cool. And then take that 1 or 2 more times. Great. Then you're going to place your back knee down. Notice where your front foot went. You can scooch it a little bit more forward. And then see how far you can go down with your hips staying square. That's why we have the blocks. You can place one underneath you. On any height, you can place multiple underneath you. Whoa. And then stay there wherever you are for 3 breaths. I just looked like I was flying, but imagine that you are flying over something, a body of water, which is where Hanuman split pose came from. A monkey was jumping over a river. One more cycle of breath. And then coming out of it gently, using the blocks, you can take them out from wherever your setup was. Bring yourself back to a lunge. Place your blocks away, tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, come through a downward facing dog, tuck-toed up dog, and downward facing dog again. Amazing. Inhale, lift the left leg up. Exhale, left foot, left thumb. So from here, since the blocks are where we want them to be, no need to place our back knee down, but find your blocks on medium or highest height, and then immediately let's come into those jumps. So hopping the right foot forward, hopping the left foot a little bit more forward than it was before, past 90 degrees. Take 2 or 3 rounds, and then you can place your back knee down. Scoot your left foot forward even more. I like keeping my back toes tucked and my my front foot is flexed. And then wherever, as far as you can go, then set up your throne. So it can be any variation with your blocks that allows you to sit up tall. And if you struggle for a bit, take your time. We'll take 3 breaths here. Arms can be down. Arms can be on your hips. Yeah, let's do hips. Shoulders down and back. Wrapping your right hip forward so your hips stay square. One more cycle of breath. And then coming out of it gently. The last hard thing is done. Drag your heel in. Remove the blocks. Find your hands on the blocks for stability. Find yourself back to your low lunge. Remove the blocks. Place your hands down. Coming into your last downward facing dog. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Amazing. Pedal it out. Take any last movements you want. And then place your knees down. Sit to one side. And then just come and sit. We'll set up for our last pose. So let your body just settle for a second. Coming and sitting in cross-legged, roll your shoulders down and back. Find your eyes coming to a close or a soft gaze if you're not really ready for that yet. And find your breath again. We just did a lot of stuff really fast. And splits, working on our splits, working on any of those poses, bring up a lot of heat and energy. And they're typically poses we do in the summertime where we have a lot more energy, there's a lot more going on, we want to be outside, we want to do fun things. So we kind of like to embrace that. But at the same time, it's nice to do poses and things that heat us up and bring us more energy in the winter too, to find that balance. It's all about balance. One more breath here. And then gently open your eyes. You're going to find your feet pressed together. You're going to find your blocks. We're coming into Superbadakanasana. If you know what that is, you can make your way there. And you're going to find your blocks diagonally underneath your knees and thighs, and then roll yourself down. And this is really nice because we just did a bunch of stuff with our legs and stretch the backs of the legs. And this allows your groin and your hips to completely relax. On each exhale, let a little more tension go. Let your palms face up, arms lengthen down. Exhale, let the shoulders completely melt down. This is a positive version of a meltdown. We want to melt down our entire body to the ground. And meltdown is typically not a positively connotated word, but in this case, see how much you can melt down into the ground. Notice how quick you can go from doing something super energizing to doing something super calming. It's all about the transitions, which leads it to all be about your reactions. It's not about something happening. It's about how you react to it. So just notice what's happening in your body right now. How is it reacting to all of those split-like poses that we did? And how can you nurture it to come to this final resting pose? You can stay here as long as you want. I will leave you here. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you so much for practicing. And thank your mind and bodies as well.